the very thing we're trying to achieve, which is getting ourselves out of this mess.
Well, you're an old observer of the Liberal Democrats at work, Michael Heseltine. What did you make of their conference?
Well, it wasn't much of a conference, was it? It was more an open dialogue between various warring factors. And
sounds like the Conservative Party conferences used to be, Michael.
But the fact of the matter is that they will not, in my view, have advanced their cause. But there was one event in that conference which really shook me to the core. And that was Vince Cable's announcement of this tax on the £1 million house. Now, I'm the first to recognise that in politics, and particularly on the left of politics, it's very easy to say we've got to raise some more money, the economy's in a mess, so we'll tax the rich. Very, very easy to do, and it's not going to lose you many votes. And so what Vince Cable did was to say the Abramoviches and another Indian billionaire, their mansion tax is what we're going to introduce. And I winced when I heard it, because that's why the public are so disenchanted with politicians. I know what a £1 million house in London looks like. It is an ordinary terraced house in Fulham, Battersea, Hammersmith, way outside the range of the mansion houses of Belgravia. And so trying to persuade the British people that this elderly couple, who probably paid £300,000 for their house, who've seen the inflationary incompetence of government send its value over £1 million, who are now already going to see their tax rates rise from 40 to 50% next year, who are already going to see national insurance going up by 0.5%, are going to actually be asked to pay £5,000 net of tax on their mythical value, if you can work out what it is, on their house, plus the fact they'll have to pay tax on the £5,000 in order to get it. So it's going to cost them £7,000 in addition to all the other taxes for a modest terraced house on the periphery of central London. Okay. And to call it an Abramovich house, a mansion tax, is the most cynical use of language I've seen in modern politics. Okay.
So you've got a vote winner there, David Laws.
Well, I'm not sure I expected a vote from Michael on this particular issue. I suspect that his house probably would come into the bracket that he's describing. But I actually think
Here you go again, trying to personalise it, trying to find a way of
Michael,
pointing
don't be so
a finger.
sensitive. Don't be so sensitive.
No, because you started it. That's what the Lib Dems... This is what the Lib Dems are really like, you see.
I think, in fact...
Just to remind viewers who won't have missed it anyway, that what Michael Heseltine said, there was loads and loads and loads of housing in London that was worth £1 million now because house prices are so high, partly, incidentally, because the Russians have come in and bought all the houses, but that's another matter. But that was why all these people were going to be offended.
Michael gives the impression that throughout the country there are vast swathes of people who are going to be in a state of panic because of their £1 million homes, which I think is a great reflection of the distance of the Tory party from reality.
I never
Bear in mind, after all, hang on a second, Michael.
Central London.
Hang on a second, Michael.
Around the peripheries of central London. That's all I said. Don't try and generalise it outside the areas I never mentioned.
Even if they've got, Michael, a house of £1 million, they will be exempt from paying any of this tax that Vince Cable talked about because it is only above £1 million. So even the people that you're talking about...
£1 over a million, and off you go.
£1 over a million, and you will pay 0.5% of a pound.
What sort of army of snoopers are you going to have in ground saying, that house is 999,000, that's a £1 million one? What sort of madness is this?
Michael, you were the Secretary of State, may I remind you?
I never brought in a tax of this sort.
That system. You were the Secretary of State who brought in a council tax system that valued not just the £1 million houses, hang on, but every single house in the country, and that imposed on them the most regressive tax that we have in our entire system, the council tax system, which takes, Michael, 10 times as much from the incomes of pensioners as it does from affluent people. It's the most regressive tax in the country. You invented it.